Okay, so welcome to day 13 of my 14-day yoga small plates. It's an unchallenged nourish exhaustion. I've been talking about different kinds of exhaustion and different yoga practices you can use to help alleviate exhaustion. Um, So today, what I wanted to talk about, we only have today and tomorrow left, by the way. I can't believe how fast it's whizzed by, but that's kind of the problem with modern life and the reason many of us are exhausted, dealing with exhaustion. Um, okay, so today what I want to talk about are some more practices for the liver. I had a request to do some, and yesterday I did some asana sequences today. I thought I would show you the practice from the Taoist yoga practices that I learned way back when from my teachers who had studied with Mantak Chia. I did actually have a chance to study with Mantak Chia a tiny little bit too. He's an interesting guy and some real interesting ideas about things. But I like some. I really like some of the practices, and the healing sounds were one of my favorite practices. And I've been doing them for so many years. It's so nice to remember. Sometimes you learn so many practices, right? You're like, oh, how do I categorize and remember all of them? Sometimes I just like to go back into my notebooks. I keep all my notebooks from, I don't know if you can see them over there, but all my notebooks from the studying that I've done, I like hang on to them and go back. And it's like, wow, I totally forgot about that. And it's so powerful. And the healing sounds are something that I go back to all the time. But I really love the idea of relearning and going back into things that I've studied before and how rich the tradition is and how sometimes you're not ready for a practice or it's not applicable to you at that time. And then you go back to it and it's like, wow, it was really powerful. So this one is one of those practices that I just love. And the idea is to go underneath the right ribs here where your liver is to lie. It's such a big organ, actually, and it spreads right in through this area. And just kind of take a moment and notice that part of your body. Put your hands on it if you like to increase that interoceptive awareness of the organ. Mostly you shouldn't be noticing your liver, right? If you're noticing your liver, something's probably not right. And definitely would require medical evaluation. But to bring just awareness and kindness to this area is a nice practice. And then the practice is that you lift your hands up with an inhale, and I'll show you the movement. And then you slightly kind of lean to the left to sort of open this area. And as you lean to the left, you visualize any heat or anger, irritation leaving through your mouth. And the sound for soothing the liver is like a SH sound, right? But it's soft and typically even can even be subvocal. It's like, it's a very soft sound. And so as you're doing the sound, you visualize things moving from your liver out of your body. And Mantak Chia, I love this one expression he would say, you're letting go of emotional energy. And he would say, it's as you think about the earth as a great recycling program for your emotions, right? So it's like you give that to the earth's atmosphere and let it recycle your emotions. And I think that's such a nice way to think about it, as opposed to like, oh, I'm getting rid of something yucky, and let that toxic thing go out into the environment or to somebody else, rather think about it being that the earth is the great mother and can take all of your emotions and can recycle them. Okay, so let's do it together. So you're going to take a deep breath in. And then you inhale and let the arms float down. Exhale when you get here. And we'll do it again. Inhale. And you're visualizing heat and toxicity and any anger leaving your system. And the earth as the mother, the atmosphere of the earth, or the earth as the mother, accepts those emotions and recycles them. Let's do one more. And then the hands flip back down. And then, so you typically you can do like 3 to 7 of those breaths. And then you stop and you want to close your eyes. Remember that cuts down the input from the visual cortex. So close or lower your eyes. Visualize this area of the liver, if you might put your hands there. And then the color that's healing for the liver is that bright, almost fluorescent spring green color. So you visualize that spring green color coming in and flooding the whole area with healing green energy. And then you take a moment to thank the liver. You actually put a smile on your face as if you're smiling at that organ. Sometimes this is called the inner smile. So you smile, which activates all sorts of oxytocin and dopamine, GABA, activates the neurotransmitters that bring you into a happier place. And then thank the liver, and then bring feelings of gratitude to that area of your body for all of the different functions and support that organ gives, the integral functions of that organ for your life. And then, so one more thing is to think about that emotion and anger or irritation, and what would be the opposite. So the Taoist yogis are doing the same thing that Patanjali recommended, which is Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Flip it around to its opposite. So what would be the opposite of anger? And you might come up with some things, but with what I learned was an opposite emotion that can be useful here is to bring in feelings of patience. So sort of that patience and kindness. And that can help to replace the pitta-provoked feelings, not to mix models, but there's pitta-provoked feelings of anger and irritation. So that's the liver healing sound. And then I wanted to show you one more practice today, which I probably should have done first because the liver healing sound is so kind of sedating, and it's just nice in and of itself, a nice way to counter particularly that pitta-provoked exhaustion. Oh, but I didn't. So anyway, this practice is called Agnisara mudra. Gosh, I've been doing this practice for years too. And this one, I learned it is like, it's supposed to help your liver and blah, 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 all these different things. I don't know exactly what it does, but I do understand it as a massage for the internal organs. So if you have any kind of disease process, anything going on with the digestive organs, you probably want to avoid this practice. And rather than pushing hard into the belly, which we're going to do in a moment, you can let your hands rest. And if you find your navel just lateral to your navel, but on both sides, where you start to feel the muscle shifting around here, where your six pack is, if you press in, kind of on a diagonal both ways, those are acupressure points that are actually really useful for both the large intestine and for digestion in general. So this a little pressure there is typically fine. However, Agnisara is a pretty intense practice. Don't do this if you've already had a big bacon and egg brunch. This should be done on an empty stomach. So let me show you the practice. So you breathe in through your nose. And then you breathe in when you finish. So what I did was that sound was like forcing all the breath out. And then I pressed my fingers into my belly. I think in the text it says to touch your spine with your fingers, which that's not going to happen till my next life, but you could press in kind of, with a little bit of sense of strain. And maybe even move your fingers around a little bit. This is some massage for the internal organ. So let's do this one again. So we're going to breathe in deeply. And then exhale, we're going to shush it out. And then when you're ready, sit up tall. Like you might need to breathe in before I did, or you might breathe in a little after I did. Doesn't matter. But you don't want to get any symptoms like dizziness or vertigo. That's not helpful at all. So the practice, it's a strong practice. And you have to be kind of healthy. You have to make sure that you're healthy enough to do it, right? It's not, I wouldn't use it for somebody who had some disease process, as I said before. Okay, you want to try it with me one more time? Usually do this one again 3 to 7 times. Those seem to be the magic numbers. So deep breath in. It almost feels like a vacuum when you breathe in because it's strong. And then just sit here for a moment, and do you notice the feelings of heat here in the belly? So whereas what we were just doing was, with the liver, was kind of cooling for the system, this should bring a little heat to the system. So it might not be okay if you're feeling pitta provoked. It might be better for helping with groundedness, helping move things through the system, perhaps helpful for vata. So I hope those were interesting. Give them a try. Please leave me questions and comments about either of those practices. I hope you've been enjoying these small plates. Let me know, by the way, because tomorrow's the last day. So let me know if there are other topics you want to cover. I'm going to be going away on a little West Coast tour for a couple of weeks. So I might live stream a little bit while I'm out there, but I won't be doing like my regular live stream stuff. So let me know. I'll think about what's coming up next. And it's really great to have you here. And I hope you've been enjoying the series. Okay, have a great day. Namaste.